This one comes from Brian in the outskirts of Disneyland, Fullerton, California. He says this: I'm having trouble with in-person and online small groups, and I need to know how to do it well. So assuming the groups have some people in person and some online, how do you do it well? Amber, you go first.
I feel like I'm repeating myself, so I'll be super quick. I just think we need to be creative. Again, that's either having the in-person, the online, or combining it, figuring out a way that works best for your people and staying connected.
All right, Ryan.
I'll answer that one real quick too. Don't assume that hybrid is necessarily the best way to go. And so try a little experiment. So one day have your leader have something come up that your leader can't meet with some people in person, and do everybody online and see how it goes, and just see what you learn and see what comes from that if you want to continue to do that. But just don't assume you have to do that. Second thing is make sure that you prepare those who are joining from afar, who are joining online, that you give them what they need to be able to be involved. And oftentimes that means that you send handouts or whatever else. And I think a lot of us kind of forget that. And so they feel like they're on the outskirts, and that becomes challenging.
Good answer. Great answers. Okay, Joanne from Atlanta, Georgia asks, how do I keep people showing up? And I'm hearing this from a lot of people, is attrition is nasty right now. So how do I keep people showing up? Ryan.
Yeah, offer them Chick-fil-A gift cards. I'm just kidding.
Ooh,
that would be awesome.
I mean,
though.
I'll join that group.
I'd come for that. Right. But I think, again, I'd probably come back to some of the things we said before, right? Make sure that you really clarify that why. I would ask them, what is it that you really need right now during this season? And how is it that our small group can be able to provide that? And if we were to provide that, are you willing to really engage and really be able to lean fully in there? So I'd really focus in on that and make sure that you really, if you need to shift your mechanics to be able to meet the real needs that people are having today, be willing to shift those sorts of mechanics.
All right, Amber.
Yeah, I'd echo that and add stay connected. So calling people, checking in on people, not just assuming that church or small group is the only time that you can talk to them. Talk to them during the week, stop by their job, things that are safe and comfortable, ways that you can really connect. And then the second thing I want to say is don't expect that everyone will be able to come back right now. So there are some people in our group that we know they won't be back for a little while. And so don't pressure them by trying to, force things for them to come or continually ask them every single week, when are you coming back? Just understand that some people may need to be away for a time. And then what Ryan said, try to meet their needs where they are.
Don't guilt trip them. In other words, I like that. That's a good reminder, especially for those of us who work in a church. So, all right, next question. This one's from a near neighbor of yours, Amber. This is, sorry. That was Joanne's question from your near neighbor. This is not a near neighbor, closer neighbor to me, Leslie in Plano, Texas. What is the biggest reason a small group fails? And what's the biggest indicator of success?
I'll take it.
Brian.
Leader who tries to do too much or who tries to do too little. It's a Goldilocks problem. There are too many leaders who think they got to be all things to everybody. And so they're going to run everything perfectly, and they're going to be the answer guy or the answer gal for every question that comes up and so on. And it just squashes the ability for other people to step in and make that group their own, kind of that ownership piece I was talking about before. That's the too much problem. The too little problem is the leader that thinks that, like, I just want to be super chill. One of my favorite books, there's a great book called The Art of Gathering, a gal who's an event planner. Her name is Priya Parker. It's an outstanding book. But one of her chapter titles is called "Don't Be a Chill Host." I love that. And I think so many of us, we want to be so chill. Like, I don't want to push it too far. I don't want to have too many plans. I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. That by being so chill, people actually are uncomfortable. So as a leader, you got to go in there and you got to kind of give that group the structure and so on that they need, but allow other people to speak into that and not go too far. That's probably the biggest reason that groups, and then I think teams also tend to struggle and fail.
I love it. And just for those of you listening, that was The Art of Gathering. And you can find that wherever fine books are sold. Terrific book. I second
It's
that.
not a Christian book. It's not a small group book. It's a book.
No, it's not, but it has a lot of helpful.
Oh, yeah,
that's right. All right. Okay, Amber.
Leadership. Yeah, leadership. I think both ways can be the success, can be part of the failure. I did just want to also say too, like being sensitive to the fact that there is spiritual warfare and we are sinners coming together to try to do life together. And so, sometimes you have these rifts because we're easily offended or we're struggling with things or people are in a hard place, they bring it to the group. So just being sensitive to these dynamics and allowing the Holy Spirit to work as you all are together, and to be quick to forgive and not easy to offend and to do all of these things. So I think part of it's just also remembering we're people and people are going to have problems. And so that's why we desperately need Jesus and his grace 24/7.
I like, once again, you brought some good theology. I sometimes, with people who stop coming to my group, accuse them of sin. That's what I do. It's good. No, that is a good. We are in a spiritual battle. So let's remember that is the context. Forget COVID. We're in a spiritual battle. All right, this one's from Pearl, Mississippi. Brian asked this question. What are your thoughts on having, now he uses hybrid groups in the old-fashioned pre-COVID ways. In other words, long-term groups and short-term groups. And some people are asking, hey, can we do summer sessions? Is there a pro or a con to short-term and long-term groups coexisting at the same church? Ryan, what do you think?
I think options are great. And so if you can offer people those options, that's wonderful. But I think right now, this is going to be a really hard time for people to make any sort of long-term decisions. So I would focus your long-term efforts on trying to say maybe the win for your long-term groups, people have been together for a long time, is just, can we stay together? Can we stay in community? Life's just super overwhelming right now. Can we hang in there? Maybe that's the win, and you try to focus in on that. But I'm not sure I would really try to, form these, lifelong relationships and so on. People just aren't there, right? I think we're living just like a few weeks ahead, just trying to get through, right now. So I do think the short-term options that meet current needs is really a great place to lean in right now.
It's a good answer. Amber.
Totally agree with that. And I think it's funny. One of the greatest things I think I've learned from COVID is that, there is no such thing as long-term, right? Because we're going day by day, week to week. And I feel like God is probably like, I've been trying to teach you guys this all along, right? Like you make all these plans for all of these things that are unforeseen. And not that long-term planning is a bad thing, but I think it teaches us to rely on God in a different way. So same thing that Ryan said, it's good to have options, but, don't get too tied to one thing. Just see how things go and then be willing to accommodate.
It's funny you say this, because my small group that I lead, just this past Sunday night, I said, guys, do we want to plan ahead, or every Sunday, do you want us just to text out and see who's available for that evening? And they said, just text on Sunday. They won't even plan 7 days out, but you know what? It's still working when we do that. Text out and we gather up. So flexibility. I like it. All right. Last question in the lightning round. I'm just wanting information on the best ways to provide digital small group studies. This is from Tom in Texas. Amber, digital studies.
Yeah, so is that like just getting people materials or how to provide the studies?
So I think Tom's saying, and I don't think he means just video. It could be video studies. It could be print studies. There's lots of stuff out there. What do you recommend?
Yeah, well, we have a lot of stuff we use. I don't know if I'm supposed to like throw out names of companies and all that kind of stuff. We do a lot of stuff through Lifeway, but we also just encourage people to find good resources. And then we have a team that will vet that and make sure that everything's not pushing anyone away from Christ, kind of thing. But I would just suggest doing some good research around needs. I know Ryan mentioned that a lot earlier, and I'm really taking that to heart. Don't just do a study because it's a cool study or it's the newest study. Find out what people are really in need of. And then my number one favorite is always just sticking with the Bible, and people have so much access to the Word of God. So, you can get it on your phone. You probably have some on the house, that whole thing. So, a group of ladies, we just literally go one chapter of a book of the Bible every week. And we've been doing that for years. And it's been tried and true and faithful to meet us where we are. So, explore, do what you need to do, but also be sensitive to the needs of the people.
Love it. Ryan, what would you add?
Yeah, I know y'all have lots on SmallGroups.com. There's lots there and so on. Right Now Media, I know is a place that I know, been part of some churches that have done that and so on. I can say this little shameless plug. I know where there's a great digital small group leadership resource.
Where
right?
would I
So
go to find that, Ron?
Yeah, thrivinggroups.com is our book website, and then you can do /course, and you can learn more about that. But we're trying to do stuff to try to, resource leaders and help leaders get the tools that they need to be able to really be effective there. And I think digital is really the space where a lot of that is happening right now. It has to be, at least for a time. So forgive the shameless plug, but we were right there.